Greetings. My name is Alex Busetta, adjunct professor at McGill University and consultant at Abacus team. So today we'd like to discuss a little bit about the lean principles. And I'd like to start with a little poll and think about it for 1 minute. Just in time, is it always a practice that we should implement? And in a lot of organizations, the answer that you might hear is yes, let's do it. But there's a little bit of a sad reality to it. And this is why it is important to really to put in perspective the principles. And that's what we will be doing today. There is a chain of principles, and some of you might have seen that list, and it's very important to explain it. If you look at just in time, just to introduce things, just in time is what we call pull. Pull is number 4 on this list. If we do apply pull without applying value stream, or flow, or one-piece flow, we might actually get the situation in our organization worse. And that's typically what happened. And we all seen what happened during the COVID-19 shortages of gloves, respiratories, medications, toilet paper sometimes. People tried to get too quickly to a pull just in time without having a stable process in terms of what was needed. The first principle as per se is something that you probably all would have seen, which is the principle of value. The principle of value, meaning let's focus on the value and let's get rid of the non-value added activities. And value added, so value added from the eyes of the customer. And there's a list of 7 wastes that was defined at Toyota. And sometimes we add an 8th waste or even a 9th waste to that list. So it goes from transport, motion, to inventory. It could be inventory of goods, inventory of documents, inventory of people that is all causing clogging and delays, waiting, any types of defects in a product, services, in a request, in a customer order, over processing, doing too much, doing things that are not required, signatures, extra steps, extra documentations, or overproduction, right? I'm not sure if I will sell 20 muffins or not, but I'll do 50 just in case. And then unfortunately, I'll scrap 30 muffins. So different acronyms exist. Timwood, Tom, DAWIP related to those particular wastes. One key thing, and this is one of the learnings from Kiichiro Sugai from the Shinkijutsu Institute, you must learn to see the waste, display it, understand it, and crush it through Kaizen or through improvement. If you read that sentence, it's almost sounds like Darth Vader, right? The dark side of things. But it's very important to display the waste, right? We hide, when we have a waste, we hide it at the back of the shop, right? That's what we call the MRB cage, the material review board cage. We have a lot of patient files or lab tests that are unknown in terms of their origin or where it comes from. We just shove them in a drawer, right? Let's forget about it. So we need to see it. So once we eliminate the waste, we need to make sure that the value streams, if you technically translate it from the Japanese, it makes making sure that there's a process, making sure that I define my steps A, B, C, D to go from A to D or to A to Z. So I would then review my process to make sure that there is something interesting ongoing. Not to confuse the principle of value stream with a tool called a value stream map, right? A value stream map helps us establish the value stream, but I could establish my value stream with a process map or a flowchart. Then we go to the concept of flow. And the concept of flow relates to having one document flow, one piece flow, one patient flow, one customer flow, serving one thing at a time instead of creating some clogging. But of course, to achieve one-piece flow, I need to have a good process, a good value stream, in other words, and I need to have a process that does not have a lot of wastes. Otherwise, it might even be more difficult. And the last principle is what, or I would say, my apologies, before the last principle, pull versus push. And here we have a situation where we have a push. Someone on the top of this chute is trying to do a very good job, but without knowing what is happening below, right? And this is a push. And sometimes we push for very, very good reasons. So a pull, on the contrary, would be to wait for a signal. A signal could be, if I go back to the slide, this gentleman is saying to the chap upstairs, hey, send me another box. Could be a light, could be an email, could be a sound. But in order to apply a pull, and a pull is what we call just in time, in other words, or in Japanese, Kanban, we need to have a process that does not have much non-value added, a good value stream, and also one-piece flow, meaning not having big batches. And the last principle is perfection. And the idea of perfection is that once I establish and I implement all those principles in my department, in my key processes or key activities, I should look for the next step. I should look to see what I should be doing next in terms of overall continuous improvement mindset. And that's it for now, and I hope that it shed some clarity on what are those key principles. Thank you for your attention.